This e-commerce business generates over $2 million per month. And in today's video, I'm doing a full case study breakdown on the results that we're getting for a client that we work with. First thing I want to go over is live results. So as you guys can see, we're currently inside of the live Shopify dashboard. I'll quickly refresh just to confirm. As you guys can see here, last month, we finished off the month at $973,000, just shy of $1 million from Shopify. Now, this business is also on Amazon, and Amazon is a very strong channel. Here, we track all the analytics. You can see that last month, we have the data from Amazon, and we did basically $1.4 million in sales. Blended between Amazon and Shopify, we ended the month at $2.4 million. Now, for this in particular client, we do have an NDA signed, so I'm not able to share the exact brand that it is. But what I can share is that they are a health and wellness brand, and they are currently selling supplements, right? Now, here I have a full breakdown, again, of the results and then their numbers. But then I also wanted to go over all of the components that were involved in making all this possible. Of course, there are things that I'm not including in here, like backend logistics and other variables, but these are the main components that went into making all this possible. So for every single e-commerce business, these are really the main components that go into them, right? You have your website, you have your product, you have your offer, your organic marketing, your paid social marketing, paid search marketing, email marketing, Amazon retention, and more, right? And again, what I did is I put together a full breakdown, sharing insights and things that were done for this in particular business for each one. And let's just really walk through it. There's a lot that I want to cover here. So first thing is first, let's start off with their website. I'm not going to go into too much detail about their website. I really wanted to kind of focus on the main thing, which is they have a well put together website, right? No matter if you drive the best kind of traffic, if you run the best types of ads, if your website is not optimized and well put together, you're not going to get the best performance that you can, and you're not going to maximize your actual marketing efforts. And so looking at their website, you can see that they have a 3.21 conversion rate, which based on industry standards, this is actually pretty good. Also because of the amount of traffic that they're getting, this puts them in a really good spot, because now all of the people that are being driven to the website, they're put in a really good place where they have a very high chance of actually converting. Now, the next thing that I wanted to quickly cover is their individual product pages. So obviously, most of the time when you're running ads, you're not sending people to your homepage, so they're not seeing the full website. Most of the time, people are being sent to either a collection page or a product page. And, same thing with their entire website. Part of it is their product page, and it's also very well put together, right? It's very optimized. These are some of the key things that you'll notice that stands out. They have clear value props above the fold when you go on their product page. They have a trust building medical claims and social proof. This business focuses a lot on subscriptions and bundles and quantity discounts to help them increase their average order value and their retention. Also, they have a big focus on having their content being around the outcomes that you get from taking their products, not just the ingredients. And so this is something that stands out, because most supplement brands that you'll go and on their website and you'll read through their products, you'll notice that a lot of the content is just around the ingredients, not so much the actual outcomes. And so they're taking a very different approach than most supplement brands take. And obviously, this has been working really well for them. One of the last things they do really well on their website and across all their product pages is that they are really great at overcoming objections with frequently asked questions, customer reviews, and comparison sections on giving full breakdowns on their products versus other products that are in the market and highlighting the key differences. And so overall, there's a lot that we can cover on the website, but I wanted to really focus on the key things that are really helping them with their performance on their website as a whole, but also their individual product pages. So really, website, it plays a really big role. All these components play a big role, but your website is definitely one of the key components here, and really is where everything all starts right after the product. So talking about the product, that's the next component that I wanted to talk about. So as you can see, looking at their sales, you'll notice that last month, majority of their sales really came from one individual product, right? Here's a full breakdown of all the individual products and the sales that came from each one. And so majority of their sales came from one individual product. You can see that from the $900,000 in sales that they made on Shopify, $760,000 of those sales came from one individual SKU. And so really they have one flagship product that currently drives majority of their sales. And then what they've started to do is they also have added in a existing complementary product. Well, this product was already added in, actually. They didn't recently add it. Now, when it comes to their product, they have one main flagship product. If you look at their data from their Shopify store, you can see that out of the $970,000 they did in sales, $767,000 of that came from one individual product, and that's their unique flagship product. Now, they do have other complementary products, not a ton. They only have really four different products in their whole website. But the other product that sells, that did the second most volume, is this complementary product that did basically $138,000. And now what they're working on is doing a new product launch and expanding their product line with a new product that's also going to be a complementary product, a product that goes hand in hand with their main flagship product. It goes hand in hand with their complementary product that they already have. And also, it just goes overall really well with the products that they sell and the brand. And it's going to really hopefully help increase the average order value and also help with retention. For every single e-commerce business, part of what needs to be done is really expanding your product line, usually if you want to scale past a certain benchmark. And so that's exactly what they're working on right now. And so this is going to be very exciting because this will most likely help really set a new level across the board for the business, right, in terms of sales and in terms of volume. And so when it comes to their product, what they have done is that they have created a fast absorbing, easy to use performance supplement that is backed by science and used in both medical and athletic environments. And so rather than them going and trying to compete on flavor or lifestyle aesthetics, they lead with absorption speed, digestive ease, clinical level formulation, and a clear promise, which is results that you can feel, right? This product is actually built for people who take recovery and performance seriously, from post-surgery patients to endurance athletes. And this is exactly the market that they're catering to, right? They have a very specific demographic that they're marketing to. And this is exactly what they're doing for their product positioning. Now, obviously, they have taken some time to kind of get to the point where they have 100% clarity on their product positioning, the ideal demographic they want to target, and more. And typically, this is something that does usually take time for most businesses, but it's 100% worth investing into, because once you have this down, it just becomes much more evident who you're looking to target, your messaging that you should be using to target them, and more. And so really, when it comes to their products, these are some of the main insights that I personally took away and that I wanted to kind of share that's working really well for them. Most e-commerce businesses, they do kind of struggle in this area, and they also struggle with figuring out, what other products should they add in that kind of go hand in hand with their flagship product. And so I wanted to kind of cover this specifically because this is how they're able to get this kind of performance, and this is the strategic approach that they have taken with their products. Now, moving on to their offer, right? This obviously plays a very big role for every single business. You need to have an offer in place. And really, when it comes to their offer, they have two offers. One is they have a basically evergreen offer for all new customers. If you just sign up to their email list, you get 5% off. And that's basically automatically applied regardless on whether you subscribe or not. The next offer that they have is if you actually subscribe. So of course, this business is really focused on pushing customers to subscribe, right? They're a supplement business and they focus on that retention. And so really what they're doing is they're making it very worthwhile for you to subscribe. And the way that they're doing it is they're putting together an offer where you get a discount on your order, you get free shipping, you get free perks, you get first access to new products and more. They put this well put together and they make it much more appealing to subscribe instead of just doing a one-time purchase. Now, again, this brand, their offer strategy is designed to encourage first-time conversions and really long-term retention. Their overall efforts is really on pushing, and I'm actually going to share some of the subscription stats. I already have them put together here and I will kind of cover that, but I will share like exactly the results from this outcome, right? Because again, for them, really one of their big drivers across the messaging on their ads, the messaging on their website, and on their product pages is the actual offer they have in place. And so really, when you have a strong focus on having the right kind of offer in place and you pair that with a strong focus on trust and product performance, this offer really structures and supports high customer lifetime value and repeat purchase behavior. And again, I'm going to show you the exact results from this just to kind of give a little more clarity and show like what this ends up resulting in. Now, moving on, this is a breakdown of their organic marketing, right? So, really, in the current landscape that we're in with e commerce, you need to have a big focus on your organic marketing. It's really the backbone, in my opinion, across the rest of the efforts that you have across the board when it comes to paid social, paid search, the traffic that you have on Amazon, and just overall presence in general. And so for this business, they have a very big focus on their organic marketing. If you go on their socials, you'll notice that on their Facebook page, they have 90,000 followers. If you go on their Instagram profile, they have over 62,000 followers. If you go on their TikTok, they have over 3,000 followers. If you go on their YouTube Shorts, they have over 430 subscribers. So they're taking the time to strategically create content for the demographic they're going after, right? And their content really focuses on educational based content, content that centers around recovery, performance, wellness, and really positioning the brand as a trusted resource in the health and wellness space. Their content is credibility driven. It leverages endorsements from health professionals, athletes, and veterans to build authority. They have real customer stories. So if you go through their actual testimonials and you look at their reviews on the website, and they leverage both, right? They leverage reviews that are left on their website, and then they'll post that on socials, and then they'll also go over like live video testimonials that they get from their customers. And so you'll notice that they have real testimonials and reviews which really provide authentic social proof across all of their channels, right? They have consistent branding, so strong, cohesive presence across their social media, their emails, their blogs. And basically, what this all does is reinforce consistency and trust. And of course, they have a lot of SEO efforts as well. They're creating different blog content that really targets individual topics that people are typically searching for, right? That are very related to the products that they offer. And so overall, they have a very big focus on organic marketing. In my opinion, you need to have a very big emphasis on your overall organic marketing strategy, leveraging, socials as well as SEO and across the board. Like this, again, all these assets that you focus on for organic marketing, they can be repurposed for paid ads and more. And so really, in my opinion, having a very strong organic marketing strategy and an organic presence plays a very big role, because it gives you an opportunity to have an additional way to further nurture all the leads that you're getting, right? When you're running ads, people are coming in and they're seeing your ads, but not everybody's going to buy right away, right? It's a very small percentage of people that buy day one from ads. And so typically what they're going to do is they're going to want to go and learn more about the brand. And how do they do that? They go and follow you on social media. They look through your social profiles, they watch your videos, they look at your reviews. And so if you have a very well put together organic marketing strategy, what's going to happen is you literally have another opportunity to be able to build trust and credibility and further educate a potential customer to get them over the edge and actually take the leap of faith of actually becoming a paying customer. So big fan of having a strong organic marketing strategy. This is something that I see that majority of the brands that are doing well are doing very well. And then typically what I'm seeing is that brands that are not doing so well, they're usually struggling with this and they're not putting as much energy, time, and effort on to their overall organic marketing strategy. So yep, a lot of benefits here. And this is exactly what they're doing to get really good results on their organic marketing. Now, moving on to their paid social, this is really where they crush, right? So just for full context, when it comes to paid social, the main channels that they're leveraging are Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now, when it comes to paid social, really what's working for them is a wide variety of things. But one of the first things I wanted to go over is really how aggressive they are with their creative. So one of the things that we do on an ongoing basis is strategize on new creatives every single day and every single week. So basically, every single week, we have a set amount of creatives that we're supporting with, and we're helping with everything from the ideation of the creatives, the scripting of the videos, if we're focusing on video content, the copy that we're using, whether it's for the videos or if it's the copy for the actual static images, sourcing different creators for them to work with that match the demographic of the creators that we usually like to have representing the brand, editing the videos, and more. We're basically supporting from A to Z with the entire creative process. And there is a very big focus on creative. As you can see, right now, if you go in the ads library, they have over 900 different ads currently running, right? And that kind of gives you context, like how aggressive they're going with creative. And so really, there's a couple different things here that I wanted to cover. The first is the top of funnel engine is really their main awareness driver, right? This is where the majority of the budget is allocated to when it comes to new customer acquisition. I mean, for full transparency, on Meta, they're currently spending over $500,000 per month, right? And really, in order to maintain this level of spend on Meta and be profitable, you need to be very aggressive and strategic about the approach that you have with the creatives. So the next thing I wanted to kind of quickly cover is, again, they have a very high creative volume. So again, the goal is really to be very strategic about the creatives. And this is basically the process that we have in place when it comes to testing creatives, right? So typically we'll have a lot of different ideas that we kind of put out and that we have ready to test. From here, we'll kind of move things into different stages. So then we'll move it to in progress. After we go from here, we'll run the test, look at what works and what doesn't. This is what we kind of have in place. Now, really, the more important piece is having an optimization flywheel where you're running strategic test, you're measuring the performance, seeing what's working, seeing what's not. You're cutting whatever's not performing. Whatever is performing, you look into scale. And then from there, we take these insights and we'll put together more strategic tests, right? We're not just randomly testing things that we think may work just like randomly, right? We're looking at market insights. We're looking at what's currently working for the brand, what's not. And this is how we're putting together this optimization flywheel where we have a tight feedback loop, consistently gathering data on, again, what's performing for us and then leveraging those insights for strategic tests. And this plays a very big role, right? Because at this level of spend, you can't have a random process when it comes to ads. You need to be very strategic. And so really when it comes to the creatives that we're running, we have a diverse, wide range of different formats, right? So we're leveraging static images, carousel ads, video ads. And the reason why is because our goal is to engage users across different consumption styles, right? Different people consume content in many different types of formats. And we want to make sure that we're able to cover and reach as many different types of people as we can with the different types of creatives that we have. So that's one of the key things that I wanted to highlight here. As I said, we have a very tight feedback loop, right? We move fast, analyzing performance, optimizing, and iterating based on data-driven insights. And so the overall takeaway is that having a highly strategic and agile approach to paid social built on creative diversity, fast testing cycles, and performance-driven scaling is really what we're seeing work currently right now. And really the landscape has changed, right? I got into this space back in 2017, and it's been quite the journey kind of seeing things evolve. Back then in 2017, there was a lot more that you had to consider, right? You have to have the right ad account structure. You have to find the right audiences to target. But now with Meta specifically and the AI machine learning, it's basically all about your creatives, right? There's very minimal efforts that have to go into having the proper ad account structure. Do you need to have the right settings? Yes. Do you need to try things like cost control campaigns to make sure that you're not just letting Meta blatantly spend? Yes, those things are important. Do you need to find the right audiences? Yes. But the much bigger lever and variable that will determine the kind of results you get with Meta is for sure your creatives, right? That basically is at least 70 to 80% of the overall efforts that should be focused on when it comes to paid social, at least in my opinion. So all in all, when it comes to paid social, this is what's being done. Again, these efforts that we have on paid social on Meta, we're seeing how this results in direct ROI both across Shopify and on Amazon, because what we're seeing is that we have a direct correlation on our efforts and our spend from the ads we're running on Meta on Amazon, right? Like obviously on Amazon, we're running ads on there as well, but we're not generating all the sales on Amazon only from our Amazon ads. Like we are also seeing a direct correlation from the ads we're running on Meta and the performance that we're seeing on Amazon, right? That's basically contributing into all of our channels. And so we have a very big focus on top of funnel awareness here. Now, moving on, the next variable that I wanted to cover is paid search, right? So when it comes to paid search, really what's happening here is obviously it's a channel that's definitely a big contributor. As you can see, last month we spent $30,000 on ads. From this $30,000, we generated $100,000 all in all from paid search ads. So a quick breakdown overall on their ads. Actually, I just realized that I didn't cover the kind of returns that they're currently getting. So for full transparency, here is a breakdown of the true performance of all of their current ad spend. So right now, overall, so on Meta, we spent 572,000. On Google Ads, we spent 30,000. Bing, 1,600. Amazon, 74,000. TikTok, 33,000. So overall ad spend came in at $713,000 for the month. And then here's a breakdown of the overall performance, right? So here is our blended ROAS, currently getting a 3.36 ROAS blended with all the channels, all the spend. And again, just wanted to kind of share that for full transparency. Now that we kind of went over results and actual ad spend and performance from paid social and paid search, I just wanted to kind of quickly cover what's happening across paid search. So on paid search, really what's happening here is we are currently supporting this brand with having a full funnel infrastructure built across paid search. What I mean by that is we basically have a structure that looks like this, where we have basically specific campaigns for top of funnel, right? We have specific campaigns for middle of funnel and specific campaigns for bottom of funnel, right? So very strategic approach when it comes to paid search. We are basically focused on all of the different types of Google ads you can run. So Google Shopping, Google Search, Google Display, YouTube Shorts, like everything, right? And that's really what it takes to get these kind of results, in my opinion, and from what I'm seeing on the back end. And so that's what we're doing here. And that's obviously working extremely well. Now, some of the things that we're actively doing on a day-to-day basis to focus on improving performance and also scaling, because right now we're actually getting ready to start pushing even more volume, is we're focused on optimizing our shopping feed, right? Really, one of the biggest variables when it comes to getting better performance on Google Shopping, which are the best performing Google ads that you can run for e-commerce, is actively testing different images, different titles, right? Those two variables have the biggest impact on the performance that you get from your Google Shopping. And so really, we have a big focus on optimizing our Google Shopping feed on an ongoing basis. For this business, because of their level of spend, we're typically strategizing on new strategic tests every single month to see if we can get better performance. And this has been working extremely well. Also, thanks to the most recent updates from ChatGPT and AI, there's a lot of ways that we've now been able to streamline the process of how we actually test different creatives when it comes to Google Shopping. Right before, we would need to reach out to our graphic designer to have them, create new images, right, with whether it's a different colored background or a lifestyle image. Now with AI and specifically ChatGPT, we can actually streamline this process and become much more efficient at it. And so, gotta love AI. We're putting a very big focus on leveraging AI across the board. But this is just one instance where it's makes total sense, and it's just so efficient to be able to strategize on new tests. And so, yeah, just wanted to kind of quickly cover that. When it comes to Google search ads, one of the things that we're currently doing is on an ongoing basis, trying out different ad copy, right? Trying out different keywords, different match types, and really making sure that we are consistently looking for new keywords that we can expand to reach brand new audiences. Most e-commerce businesses think that Google is only a channel that's made for bottom of funnel traffic to make sure that when people search you, you're showing up there. Yes, you want to make sure you get that visibility. You don't want to lose out and have any other competitor taking your traffic. But there's also strategic ways that you can acquire net new customers from Google. And so what we focus on is really having a big focus on having our campaigns being split up between branded and non-brand campaigns, and making sure that we're splitting up our budgets, so we have a fair amount of budgets going towards non-brand campaigns that are actually focused on new customer acquisition and not just capturing warm traffic that was already going to convert anyway. And so that's what we're doing across search. For YouTube, what we're doing is we're taking the top performing creatives that are working very well on Meta, and then we're running those on YouTube Shorts. And that is working extremely, extremely well. We're using YouTube Shorts for both prospecting and also for remarketing, and seeing consistent performance here. For display, typically we're just focusing on display for remarketing. We're doing some tests on display for prospecting, but it's been a little bit tough to kind of crack that just yet. But for now, display for remarketing has been crushing. And what we're doing here is we're taking the top performing statics from Meta, and we're trying those out for Google Display remarketing. And then we're also creating different tests there to see if we can get any big unlocks. And so overall, their paid strategy is having, again, a full funnel infrastructure that's using a data-driven approach and is deeply optimized. And so combining creative repurposing and ongoing testing and this multi-channel approach really helps with maximizing overall performance across the board. And this is how we're currently getting this kind of performance in a very competitive space. Mind you, we're getting these kind of results in a space that is highly competitive. The supplement space is cutthroat. It's a very difficult space to thrive in. And this is a business that's actually actively growing month over month. What I didn't actually cover also is that this business, right, that's their growth for last month. But if we go and look at the month before, February, right, in February, they only did $700,000 in sales, right? And if we look at the month before in January, they only did $600,000 in sales. So you can kind of see we've been growing literally month over month. And the way that we've been able to do that in a very competitive space like supplements is by, again, having a strategic approach to everything that we do, right? This same approach that I just kind of shared in terms of like the outline of like the different campaigns that we have and the full strategy that I shared for Google. That's basically the approach that we take for all of the channels that we support on, right? It's very strategic. We're not just guessing. We're leveraging insights on what's working across the board, and that's how we're getting these current results for paid ads. And so, moving on, obviously, one of the next components here we have is email marketing. So I'm not gonna dive too deep into their overall email marketing, but as you guys can see, they're doing a lot with email, right? Overall, last month, email marketing contributed to $370,000 in revenue, which is obviously massive. You can kind of see some of their other stats, right? And basically, their email marketing is broken down between two main components. You have their flows, which are automated emails that are being triggered based on different actions that people are taking on the website, and then you have the campaigns. And so you can kind of see that the split is fairly even. Well, not even, but campaign revenue was $155,000 for the last month, and then the rest came from flows. Now, moving on to their email marketing. As you can see here, this is their overall email performance. You can see that last month from email marketing alone, they generated $370,000 in sales. This is broken down between their flows, which are automated emails that are sent from triggers based on different actions that people take on the site, and then also manual campaigns that are sent out. You can see that from manual campaigns, they made $155,000, and then the rest came from flows. Now, email marketing should be a strong channel for most businesses. It is here, as you can see. Their overall strategy is really focused on increasing the customer lifetime cycle. Again, this business has a very big focus on subscriptions and retention. And so for them, they likely structured their overall strategy and their welcome flows, their ongoing email campaigns on the emphasis of trying to drive more repeat purchases, right? That's their main goal. You'll notice that they have a mixture of promotional and educational style content. One of the things that works really well with email marketing is not trying to just suffocate your email list with like trying to get them to buy right away. Instead, what they do is they take a more strategic approach. They focus on constantly educating and providing value to their email list. And this helps them maintain consistent activity with their emails. It keeps people coming back and opening their emails and really keeps their performance high, right? As you can see. And so this overall helps on reinforcing building brand value while also boosting conversions. They do also have a pretty big focus on list nurturing and segmentation, right? And so what they focus on doing is keeping their list optimized. It's all segmented, and really this helps with the overall customer lifetime value, but also with your email performance. If you're just emailing your entire list, even though a portion of it isn't active, you're not going to see the best performance. And so really the overall takeaways when it comes to their email marketing is it plays a big role in their overall growth engine, right? This is a big contributor every single month. It supports retention. It helps with educating the potential customers as well as existing customers. And it helps with having high margin repeat sales because their email list is an asset that they own. Anytime they sell any products through email, it's extremely profitable because this is an asset that they've already built, right? If their whole business stops when it comes to running ads and Amazon and everything, they will still have their email list that will still generate sales on an ongoing basis. And it's completely their asset that they have. And it plays a very big role in the overall business. So those are the main kind of key takeaways for email marketing. Now, moving on to Amazon, as you guys saw, Amazon is just a powerhouse for this business in particularly, but also for a lot of e-commerce businesses. I have recently become a lot bigger of a proponent to make sure that every single business that we work with is also leveraging Amazon. And the reason why is because we're seeing that businesses that we work with that have Amazon and that we're also pushing across all these other marketing channels, they see a very big spillover to the performance on their actual Amazon listings and all of their Amazon products. And so again, for this business, you can see that last month they generated $1.4 million in sales on Amazon. And on ads specifically, just kind of looking back, you can see that the Amazon ad spend came in at, where is it? Overall ad spend on Amazon came in at $74,000, right? And so that's a really good return, again, in a category that is very competitive. Now, the reason why this is possible is because, again, we're also seeing that the performance that we're getting from our top of funnel efforts, like our ads on Meta, are spilling over to what's happening on Amazon. And so obviously this is partially why we're getting that performance, but really their Amazon listings are also very well put together, right? They're making sure they have the right kind of product pages that have all the images that highlight the benefits, and more. They have optimized product titles. They have a lot of reviews on Amazon, which helps them stand out. On Amazon, reviews is everything, right? If you don't have really good reviews on Amazon, you don't rank as high, you don't see as good performance. And so they have a lot of efforts, and they've taken them some time to grow their Amazon to where it is today. But clearly, having a very big focus and emphasis on your Amazon plays a very big role on the overall performance that you see from your Amazon. And so, yeah, I mean, overall, when it comes to the Amazon ads, they have a proper strategy in place, right? They obviously run ads that are very specific. They run both branded keyword ads, they run ads that are non-branded, they run ads targeting other competitors. And so they have a very big focus on having strategic ads as well on Amazon. Of course, across the board with all the efforts for all channels, it's always strategic, and we can kind of see the impact that we're having from Amazon. And so really, Amazon is not just a sales channel. It's a conversion engine fueled by broader awareness, with listing optimization and paid media synergy playing a big role. Like, you can see like the kind of success that you can see on Amazon. And what we're seeing is that, again, Amazon isn't going anywhere. It's only going to continue to grow. And so we have completely embarked that. And now we're just looking to always make sure that every single business we work with has a very big focus on Amazon. And so we have also started to support the businesses that we work with on Amazon, because we don't want them missing out, right? We know that people are actively shopping on Amazon. We want to capture that traffic. We want to make sure that we are everywhere that our customers are. And so obviously you can kind of see behind the scenes like how big of a contributor Amazon can be to any business, right? But yeah, those are some of the main things I wanted to cover for Amazon. Now, last thing I wanted to cover is retention. So like I mentioned, I was going to share the stats that they have for the retention and how their offers are also attributing to their performance when it comes to retention. You can see here, this is a breakdown from their Shopify, and here's a breakdown of where all the sales came from, right? You can see that really for new customer acquisition, we generated $530,000 in sales, but from reoccurring and subscriptions, we generated $355,000 in sales, right? Like literally almost 40% of the total revenue for this month came from subscriptions. On average, they're seeing that anywhere between 30 and 40% of the revenue does always come from subscriptions every single month. But you can see that the reason why this is possible is because, again, they have a strong front end offer to really get people to subscribe in the first place. Two, they make it very worthwhile and a much more appealing to subscribe versus just purchasing one time. And really, in order to get really good retention, every single business is different, of course, but for supplements specifically, you need to have a very enticing offer to make people want to subscribe. But if you do, and you get that right, subscriptions can play a very big role in your business every single month. Again, for this business, it does. And this is just for full transparency. And so for them, again, it's clear that this brand has built a sticky, reoccurring revenue engine. This likely represents a significant chunk of their Shopify sales, as you guys can see, and really reinforces their customer lifetime value. The customer lifetime value for this business is actually pretty good because their product actually works. One thing that I will say is everything that I've covered today in this video is on the fact that they actually have a very good product. If you don't have a good product, everything else that I shared will not be applicable to your e-commerce business, because you cannot get these kind of results if you don't have a product that works, because nobody's going to come back after the first initial purchase. So that is the one contingency here. Next is their overall format of their product does obviously set them up to be in a position where it makes sense for the customer to use the product and then need more of it. And so obviously the nature of the product is that you use it daily, it's performance focused. And so really it makes it really ideal for normal consumption, which fuels retention, right? This is a product that's strategically made for you to need more of it, because you only have basically a month's supply that you usually purchase when you first sign up. And obviously then the next month, as long as you take all the products, which usually you will, you need more. So obviously I already kind of went over the offer, so I'm not going to cover this again. But really, repeat business plays a very big role into every single business, especially with all the changes that just recently came out this week with the tariffs. Businesses are going to need to become much more efficient, right? Across the board. They're going to need to try increasing cost. They're going to need to try reducing their internal cost, right? Cut that part out. So all in all, so when it comes to retention, this is something that as a business, you want to try to focus and really build on top on every single month, right? For this individual business, obviously you can see that it plays a big role in their overall sales every single month. And now with the current e-commerce landscape, this week we just had news come out about tariffs, which are basically going to imply higher cost across the board for every single business that imports products from overseas. And with that in mind, right, as a business, you have different levers that you can pull on. Obviously, businesses are going to be increasing their pricing, but also one of the things you want to try to do is see how you can improve your overall retention and how much you generate per customer, right? That's going to play a big role. And so, all in all, like I wanted to make sure I kind of covered this and share these insights because for any business that's out there that has a product that actually can be used more than once and can then be paired with other products on an ongoing basis, you want to make sure that you're strategically creating these offers, bundles, and you're putting together unique ways for your customers to purchase more of your products on an ongoing basis because this again plays a very big role. Now, moving on, the last key thing that I wanted to cover on retention is that the next way that this business is focused on improving the overall retention is by cross-selling other products. So like I mentioned, they recently launched a new product. They launched it via pre-order. So what they did is before they actually even purchased like a full batch of inventory, they did a small pre-order, basically just saying, hey, if you're interested, you can pre-order this product. And this allows them to very early see the actual interest that's being shown in this product, whether people are interested in it or not. It helps them really also like introduce a new product to their overall customers, which go hand in hand with their existing products. Right now, the customers are going to be eager to try a new product out because they've already had a good experience from their existing product. And then also it's a smart use of this angle where they can build hype to really build anticipation, and then also they can drive early cash flow because they are accepting actual orders with their pre-order. And this really helps increase their overall retention because now instead of only having customers subscribe for one product, they can keep them subscribed, but now also offer them other products as well. And so this obviously helps with overall retention efforts. And so all in all, those are really all of the components that I wanted to cover for this in particular case study. Like I said, when it comes to running an e-commerce business, there are obviously much more components involved, right? As you can see here, there are things like there are other elements when it comes to driving traffic. You have other variables when it comes to increasing your average order value. There are other variables that come to increasing your conversion rate across the board. There are logistics to kind of keep in mind, brand building. There are more components that play a big role, but for the sake of this video, I wanted to really focus on some of the key ones that obviously we're directly contributing to and that obviously we're seeing the biggest impact from. But all in all, from my experience working with a wide variety of different e-commerce businesses, really it takes all these components being optimized, being strategically worked on, and having the right emphasis and support in place to be able to see really good results. And so all in all, if you're running an e-commerce business and you're looking to improve your performance across any of these components that I kind of covered, down below this video, there's going to be a link in the description where you can actually book in a call with me and my team. On that call, we'll get to know more about you and your business. We'll review all of these components. And then from there, we'll put together an action plan going over exactly how we can support you across the board. And so, yeah, with that said, that's everything I wanted to cover from this video. As always, if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you guys have any questions about anything that I covered in the video, drop it down below. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video.